Okay, just to get started, this is kind of the finished section. I'm just going to mark on this one. This horizon line, just kind of set this up here for you. Line. Another term they call this is your eye level in perspective. So I just tried to show you how to make this dimension. This is a dimension line, and this is just showing it's 1/3 from the top to the bottom. Okay, so I'll show you how to remeasure that again. The midpoint here, trying to find half for the distance, is VP, stands for your vanishing point. And we're just kind of starting off with 1-point perspective. So just to show it to you, you don't need to write it on your paper, but I just want to show that part to you. All these lines will go back to the vanishing point. Okay, this first line down here was just measured into 2 inches, so it was an 8-inch mark, and this 2, with these 2 little lines here, represents 1 inch. So it's a 2-inch mark all the way across. And this section from the base to here, here's another dimension line, was 3 inches. So it's just showing you that part. So once this trapezoid shape was drawn, the vanishing point had these lines taken to the section on the eye level, and then crossing the diagonal, showing you to find the center, showed you where each of these start to go back in distance, and what you end up with is this space. So if you really were to draw this out as a box, if you cross the diagonals, that's going to be the center. So what you're ending up with is this rectangle, or a square that has 16 squares in it from a top view, and now in perspective they get larger at the foreground and distance in the background. So that's what I want to try to establish with you. So if you need to see this part, the rulers or the architect scales that are back there, just kind of showing this to you again. The paper is standard 8.5 by 11, but in order to get it to be a section that goes over the edge for the angle of dividing it into thirds, I put 0 of the ruler down at the bottom and 9 up at the top. And what that does is allow you to divide something that's not so equal, measured, and to measure it. So just to show you, here's a third, and at 6 is going to be the other mark. So I'm just putting a little mark there. And I could try to draw this with the ruler, but it's just as easy to set myself another line marked off here. So I'm just coming down further on the paper, putting 0 here, and then doing the same thing, arching the paper up here to 9, putting it at 9 right up at the top there. So it's just giving me 2 marks to make the eye level, the horizon line. So if I put 0 down there, at 3 and 6 is where that's going to be, so there it is right there. Once I have this part, all I did was line up the 2 lines, and just lightly, and as I draw the pencil I'm kind of rotating it just to keep it sharp. There it is at the distance. It doesn't matter if you have your measurement up at the top, I can divide this now to have half the page on the horizon line. So I'm just going to take this, it's at 11, so you can kind of see the ruler I have 5.5. So I'm just going to put it approximately in the center there. So there's the vanishing point. I'm just going to put VP here just so you can see it, and EL for eye level, HL for horizon line. So then down at the bottom, doesn't matter if this part's centered, just want to get you approximated at the center. Just going to draw an 8-inch line. So even though your ruler may be an architect scale, I'm just going to lay it down here. Kind of look and see if it's parallel to the bottom of the page, and put a mark at 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8, and just make a line right there. Okay? And that's going to be the base of this section, and I just wanted to make this about 3 inches tall, so putting the 0 point right here and going up 3 inches, making a mark. I'm going to make a secondary mark.
Let me go use the bathroom.
put just a light line. Doesn't have to be as wide as because these lines are going to the vanishing point. So right like that. Once I have that, I'm just going to project from this point to the vanishing point, but stop right here at that 3-inch mark. So I just line these two up, like so, and keep these light because you're going to keep part of it, you're going to erase some of it. But take all these 5 points. They're actually going to the vanishing point. And you end up just having a nice 1/4 the scale of the columns here ready to go. So there's the 4 columns. And just taking a look back at this finished one, to find out the space from here to here, you're just crossing the diagonal line and it intersects each one of those lines. So here's an example of a top view. If this was drawn diagonally, you can kind of see where it intersects to show these lines going across. So all you need to do is to take and pretend that this is the square, and here's the diagonal going from this side to this side. Line the ruler up, and just go ahead and make a mark right at that intersection. Okay. Now at this point, you're going to try to estimate trying to get a nice horizontal line coming across here. So I line this up, trying to look at the parallel distance from here and give myself a nice horizontal line there. So there's just 3 that you make. There you have it. Then just go put your name in the lower right corner and you're all set. That's the page that you have. That'll be the base for our drawing.